Welcome to Aspen Grove Adventures. I am Michelle.
I'm Matt.
And it is now 2022.
Happy New Year!
What does that mean?
We look back on 2021.
And we talk about all of our favorites. I love doing these videos. We missed last year because we didn't film last year. We just kind of took the year off of YouTube until the world kind of figured out what traveling meant and how it was safe to do so. So we kind of took the year off because we didn't really want our voices in with the should you travel, should you not travel narrative of 2020, which means that we don't have one of these videos, which is kind of a bummer. But we went back and we watched
18 and 19.
Do we also have one for 17 or no?
I think we do.
Yeah, so we went back and watched all those and they were really fun and I'm glad that we have them. So we don't care if you like this video. It's for us.
I care.
Yeah, we do care, but it's really fun to have for our own memories.
We enjoy making them. Hopefully you enjoy watching them.
Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today is a good day to live.
So our first favorite category is our favorite day.
My favorite day was, there was a day in Washington last summer when it was like a weekday. Matt was working. We were up visiting my sister and her husband and her kids. And my sister and I took the kids mini golfing. And it was just really fun to spend the day hanging out with the kids. I've been wanting to go mini golfing for a really long time. And so it was nice to go do that and just, have a day. Kind of bonding with my niece and nephew. The cool thing about this full-time travel thing is how we get to spend some really quality time with family. That's hard to do when you live in a normal house. Like we spent a week and a half like in my sister's driveway and we kind of lived our own lives, but we were also able to like get together for dinner or go do day trips like the mini golf. And then that same day in the evening after everybody else had gone to bed, my sister and I just kind of sat up in the backyard. It was a warm summer night and we just chatted and had one of those, long sister conversations about anything and everything until almost 1 a.m. And it had been a really long time since we had the freedom to do something like that because, we have grown out of those sharing a bedroom years where we sit up and talk all night. And so it was really fun to kind of have that, which is, I think, something that you wouldn't get if you weren't full-time RVing.
Yeah.
So
my favorite day was the day that we basically sold our house. We had a notary. We were staying in Cloverdale at 1,000 Trails, and a notary came out and we signed our paperwork to sell the house on the picnic table in front of our RV. And so it was really that day. And then I think it was a couple days later we got a call from our agent that the house had officially sold and, everything was done.
our favorite food in 2021. I like pizza. I've always liked pizza. Pizza's fun. Pizza's a little bit more complicated now that we're vegan, but there was a place that we went to in Portland, which was right across from Powell's bookstore, and it was called Sizzle Pie. And Sizzle Pie has pizza for anybody. There's gluten-free, there's all the meat you want, there's vegetarian, and there's vegan. And we got a vegan pizza, and it had soy curls on it, which we had never tried before. And it was really good. It was one of those indulgent, super greasy, super, unhealthy pizzas. But it was really good. They also had garlic nuts there, which were vegan.
Incredible.
And they were amazing.
Yeah.
So I just really liked Sizzle Pie. It was a really good pizza place in Portland.
I had a really hard time with this category. My first choice was also from Portland.
If you are interested in our vegan eating experiences in Portland, there is a video that you should go watch. It'll be linked probably up above and down below.
We went to a restaurant called Off the Griddle.
That's really good.
And it was really good. It was like a breakfast and brunch place primarily. I think they might have lunch, and it's possible they have dinner as well, but I'm not sure. It seemed like a brunch place. But everything there, I think, is vegan by default, and they do offer eggs and cheese if you were a vegetarian.
Yeah.
But it's really, really good brunch food.
The hash browns were amazing, and
Yeah.
I judge a place on their hash browns.
Yeah, really good hash browns. All right. Where was your favorite campground?
My favorite campground was Orangeland RV Park in Orange, California, which is about 3.5 miles from Disneyland. Our RV park that we used to stay at when we went to Disney closed. It did not make it through COVID. It's now getting turned into condos or something stupid. But we tried out Orangeland and it was pretty good. They're further from Disneyland and we ride our bikes, so it makes our bike ride longer. But it was clean and it was manicured and it seemed safe. It was a really good spot for a trip to Disney. They had a ton of amenities, which was pretty cool. We have a video of a review of Orangeland going up in the next few weeks as well. So you should stay tuned for that if you are planning a trip to California's Disneyland and want to bring your RV.
Yeah. My favorite campgrounds were Oxanita Springs, which is in a little town called Descanso, but really it's I think I call it an exurb of San Diego. It's pretty rural, but it's only about a half an hour from downtown San Diego. You are at an elevation of about 4,000 feet, so you drive basically out of San Diego and up a hill, or up a mountain. I'm not really sure,
Yeah,
but into a range.
When we were there in November, it got chilly in the nighttime, but it was beautiful during the day.
Yeah, really, really nice during the day. They do get some winter weather if you're there in January, February, but most of the year it's pretty nice, and it's a good reprieve from the heat, being at that elevation. So yeah, that was my number one. The other one is Dumbarton Quarry, which is the newest campground in the Bay Area. It's part of the it's a secret we're trying to keep. It's part of the East Bay Regional Parks District, but it's full hookups, and it's like half a mile from the bay, right at the base of the Dumbarton Bridge. It's
nobody camps there yet.
Yeah, it's not very well known yet, so it's pretty exciting for us.
You can go there, but don't tell anybody
Yeah,
else
please
about it. Just you, only you.
Keep our secret.
Yeah. Our favorite place?
Favorite place?
My favorite place, I think, is also our dog Teddy's favorite place. Speaking of Teddy, I think they finally went and laid down. They have been crazy. Did we tell them at the beginning of this video? This is the second time we filmed this today.
Yeah, when you film videos somewhat regularly, eventually it seems to happen to everybody that you accidentally hit the erase the card button.
Yeah, I thought I was deleting one clip. I erased the whole card. So we had to start over. The first time we filmed this, the dogs were bananas.
Rambunctious.
So we walked them, and then we came back, and I'm sure they've been around a little bit. You probably heard them moving around. But they're finally in bed. So
Yeah.
hopefully they stay there till we're done.
Yeah.
So anyways, my favorite place, I think, would also be our dog Teddy's favorite place. And that was Pacific City, Oregon. We stayed at Hearts Camp Airstream
Hotel and campground.
literally backed up to our site. We could just look over the fence, and there was a
City park?
City park, yeah, and it was much cheaper, but it was first come, first serve. So it wasn't necessarily the park that was the big deal for us. It was just the space, the place, basically.
Yeah.
I really liked, they had a little bakery out in front of the campground that had an amazing vegan breakfast sandwich, and I've been on a breakfast sandwich kick ever since. It wasn't all vegan food. They had lots of different stuff. There was a brewery across the street with root beers the size of my head. The beach was right there. It was just a beautiful space. I got to take the dogs to the beach almost every single day, and they got to run around. We had a crazy experience where Teddy and I almost got hit by a boat while we were on dry land.
Yeah.
So it was just a really fun place. It had that beach resort feel that you see in the movies where it's like, oh, we're gonna go spend the whole summer at this beach resort, and everyone in reality is like, who does that?
Yeah.
But we got a couple weeks of this kind of culture that was really fun and relaxing.
It was. Good Mexican food there, too.
Oh yeah, there was a Mexican food place where
Family run.
it was good food
Yeah.
and the people were good people.
Yeah. So my favorite place was Multnomah Falls, which is a waterfall in the Columbia River watershed. It is a very, very tall waterfall. It's famous in the Oregon area.
Famous on Instagram.
Famous on Instagram. So we went on a really nice hike. It's weird. It's like right off the highway. So
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it a hike. We walked over to the falls.
yeah.
Well, then we hiked up.
Then we hiked up. So the parking lot is between the two different directions of the freeway. So if the freeway's going like this, the parking lot's in the middle, and you walk under a tunnel to get over to the visitor center and the entry to the falls. But it was very convenient. But more importantly, it was gorgeous. I mean, once you're off the freeway, it's very quiet and peaceful, and you're
Yeah.
in the woods. I think it's run by the Forest Service. They have a lodge there with about 8 or 12 rooms, something like that. It's a small lodge.
I would recommend, if you're going to go, get there opening. We got to the parking lot about 15 minutes before opening.
Yeah.
Because it was great. We got there. We got to get like I said, it's famous on Instagram. So everybody has to stop for the Instagram photo. So we were able to get our photo. That is actually, we aren't using Instagram much anymore. So it's for our photo album. Maybe it'll go up here in the video. But we got our photo and then we were able to hike up. By the time that we were coming back down,
It was hilarious.
there were a ton of girls wearing crop tops and yoga pants making their boyfriends take their photos for the Instagram photo. Like, you really had to, like, dodge the Instagrammers by about 10:30.
I mean, they like glistened with all the glitter they were covered in. It was really hilarious.
It was really funny, and I'm like, okay. Multnomah Falls means a lot to me because it's hilarious. My grandmother passed away about 8 years ago, and it was really important to her. And it's so funny. I would love to tell her now how Instagram famous this place is, because she, back in the 1940s, when she was the age of these Instagrammers are now, she went there for her senior ditch day. So it's always been popular with the teens. So it was really fun for me to go see that because it's always been a special place to her, and she used to talk about it a lot. So, but it was your favorite place.
It was my favorite place, yeah.
National park sites.
National park sites.
We did so bad at being national park people.
Yeah, we really are. We do appreciate and love the parks. 2021 for us was, I don't want to say crazy, but it was...
It was a lot of like getting our feet under us
Yes.
and figuring out the first half of the year was figuring out what we were going to do about the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second half of the year was figuring out how to live without a house.
Yes.
And just a lot of that meant that we didn't make it to a ton of national
Yeah, we were
parks.
dealing with logistics, and although we were doing it in really cool places, we weren't doing a lot of traditional vacationing.
A lot of national parks don't have the cell service that we need for your
Yeah.
work, and we've been kind of stressed out. He didn't even take enough vacation this year.
Yeah, I literally overran my vacation because I didn't take enough.
Yeah, because he was afraid, because we were afraid if we start treating like vacation, that's not going to work for the long term.
Yeah.
So because of that, we did really bad at national parks. So
Yep.
we only made it to 2. And my favorite is different than your favorite,
It
which is pretty impressive considering we only went to 2.
Technically 3.
We drove through Redwood. We didn't get out of the car at all.
That's true.
So my favorite, we went to Olympic National Park, which we had been to before, and it was really nice. But specifically within the park, my favorite was the Hall of Mosses, or as we called it, the entire hike, because we had read the sign wrong, the Hall of Moses.
Moses.
It was a very, someone could go here and have a religious experience if that's the kind of person they were.
Yeah.
So it made sense to be named the Hall of Moses. We're like, yeah, that checks out. This is a very serene, beautiful place to go. So, yeah. But then we saw the sign, it was the Hall of Mosses, which also made sense because it was a rainforest. It was the Hoh Rainforest.
It's in the Hoh Rainforest.
Lots of moss. Tons of moss.
Many different types of moss.
Lichen, moss.
The trail, the Hall
Mildew, all of it.
The Hall of Mosses trail walks from a low elevation down near rivers basically, and it walks up the side of the hills, and it talks about the difference in the mosses as you climb
Yeah.
in elevation, and as you get to different amounts of sun, the moss varieties change. So it's the Hall of Mosses because of the variety of mosses.
Yeah.
My favorite national park site was Cabrillo National Monument, and the monument is dedicated to Cabrillo, who was an explorer. He found San Diego Bay, and it kind of, there's, what do they call it? Informational, not orienteering, but anyway, all of the information center is dedicated to teaching you about the exploration of California and the Western United States by the Spaniards and all of the different explorers by sea. And that was interesting, but
Oh, we appreciated that it wasn't just the story of these white dudes that came in and discovered a new world, even
Right.
though, people lived there already. It wasn't new to those people. So they told the story of those people and how this might have been a big development for Europe, but for the people who lived here, it maybe was kind of a negative story in a lot of ways. So they told
both sides.
They told both sides of the story, and they were really respectful.
So that part of the park site is impressive. It's interesting. It wasn't what made it my favorite, though. What made it my favorite was really its location and the views that you get of San Diego. It was really in a really cool area. You're out in the middle of the bay, and
Yeah, it's like on this long peninsula,
on a long
really
peninsula.
up high.
Yeah, and you get to look out on the coast of the bay, like the beaches of the bay from the center of the bay. So you're looking at all of San Diego kind of spread out on display for you. It was really, really incredible. Really beautiful area, nice weather. The wind keeps it from getting too warm. Okay, what was your favorite experience
My
of 2021?
My favorite experience was in Santa Barbara. There was a day where I have this mission to get library cards wherever they'll give them to me. And so in Santa Barbara, if you are a California resident at all, you can get a library card. So I had this goal that day was I was gonna just ride my bike like 3 miles or something to the library and get us a library card and then come back. And then, so I, set myself up and my phone was there on my bike to tell me the directions and they were telling me how to go and I just didn't want to go that way. I felt like it was too busy of a road and that wasn't interesting to me. So I just went a different way and I was like, I'll figure it out. And then I kept going and I was like, you know what, forget this. And I just turned off the GPS and just let myself kind of get lost on a bike ride in San Diego, or Santa Barbara. And it was just really nice. It was a beautiful day. The sun was shining. I discovered a natural history museum. It was pretty funny. I came around a corner and there was a huge giant whale skeleton right in front of my face. And so that was pretty cool. And then I looped around and all of a sudden I was there at the Santa Barbara Mission, which was pretty cool. And I eventually did make it to the library and I did get my library card. But I just really enjoyed that day, just all by myself, going wherever I wanted to go, exploring by bike. Bike is a really nice way to explore a city because you are going fast enough that you can cover some ground and slow enough that you can really soak in what you're seeing.
Also, there's no windows, so you get to experience the smells and sights and sounds, and you're more kind of touching it, if you will.
So that was my favorite experience of 2021.
That's cool. My favorite experience was camping with rabbits, bunny rabbits. And this also happened in Pacific City, Oregon. They have a wild rabbit population, and I guess they don't have a lot of predators because there are a lot of rabbits.
And they're not jackrabbits, they're like
Bunny
bunnies.
rabbits, like cottontails and rabbits.
Like somebody released their pets and then their pets just kept procreating.
Yeah. So that was pretty wild. I think you said at one point you counted like 40 of them just in your field of view.
And I stopped because they were like moving around and coming and going, and I was like, I can't keep counting. But there's more than 40 right here. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
Bunnies.
So what about your favorite toy or item that you received or got in 2021?
My favorite thing that we got and have used a ton in 2021.
Almost every day.
Almost every day. is Bagheera. And Bagheera is the name of our travel trailer, our new fifth wheel travel trailer. We needed to upgrade from our little 20-foot Harvey, the RV, and we got this one, and it's great.
So, kind of related, my favorite new item that we got this year is the truck that was required to pull this trailer. Baloo, yeah. We got a Chevy Silverado 2500 with the diesel, and so far it's worked out really well for us. We did get a flat tire already, but that's
Campground living.
Campground living. Drove over a screw. It happens.
Yeah. So yeah, Baloo and Bagheera, they really literally actually changed our life this year.
Yeah.
Our last 2021 favorite is the favorite thing that we learned. And we already did this, so we know that, like, mine is like this deep thing that I learned. And yours is a fun fact that is just really cracks you up.
You want to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
So we went to Legoland in California, in Carlsbad, on our way from Anaheim in Disneyland down to San Diego. And in Legoland, they have miniature towns. And those towns, they have a lot of different towns, but one of them they have is New York. So they have miniature New York made entirely of Legos. But there's
the subway was my favorite.
Yeah, with a subway. There's a second miniature New York, though, hiding on the other side in Las Vegas. So there are 2 scale replicas of New York City in Legoland Carlsbad.
And Matt just really loves this.
I really love that fact.
It's fun. It's a fun fact.
All right, take us deep.
My favorite thing that I learned, which I feel like I learn every single year, and it's important for me to learn because I'm not very good at it, so I need to be constantly reminded, is to be flexible. You really have to be flexible. So for us personally, we've had a few things. We had some medical things, which have meant we have to be certain places at certain times, which sometimes complicates our travel plans, especially when our medical things change. And then, the world as a whole, everybody has had to learn how to kind of be flexible because you never quite know what the regulations or the rules are going to be or what's going to be the safest, healthiest course of action for you and your family. And so 2021 was another one of these years where I've just had to be reminded that it's okay, like, make plans, but also be ready for your plans to change. So it was good for me, I think, this year to keep learning this lesson. So,
Yeah, it's an important lesson.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
So those are our 2021 favorites. I can't wait to see the ways in which I have to be flexible in 2022. I think 22 is going to be... It has the potential to be a really cool year.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
But if all goes the way we plan on it going, it's going to be our first full year on the road.
Yeah.
And I think that can lead to some pretty fun stuff. So if you are interested in following along with whatever this new year brings for us, be sure to subscribe. We'd love to have you along for our journey. And I think that's it for today.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.